You can love someone, trust in someone, believe in someone so deeply that you stop requiring accountability. And by the time you finally accept the red flags, they're standing in the life that you built with access to everything.
I just told you who I thought I was. A guy. Bitch, I'm the villain. Nigga.
Look, timestamps in the description, the pinned comment, and here. Don't go away. I'm about to show you a really long TikTok, but it's informative. I'm going to try and splice it up to all of the super important bits and pieces, but here we go.
There is a twist in this Uncle Nearest saga that you have to hear about. And I'm not a lawyer, but take a seat so I can fill you in. Okay, so we know whiskey company Uncle Nearest was placed in a receivership back in August of 2025 because they owed about $100 million to a lending company called Farm Credit Mid-America. And so enter Philip Young Jr., the court-appointed receiver. Okay, now fast forward to this month, July of 2026. So we all know that the receiver, Philip Young Jr., fired the co-founders of the company, Fawn and Keith Weaver, effective June 1st, 2026. But now here we are a month later, and the receiver has now filed a countersuit against the lender, Farm Credit Mid-America. And the reason why is some tea. According to the countersuit, Uncle Nearest actually has 3 loans with Farm Credit Mid-America. They have a term loan, then they also have a real estate line of credit, and then the third loan Uncle Nearest has with Farm Credit is a revolving loan in the amount of $35 million. Okay, now at the time these loans were put in place, a man named Michael Sinzowski was the chief financial officer of Uncle Nearest, and he was in charge of everything money related at the company. And child, he was scamming. So that's about 13 months. Michael Sinzowski submitted multiple falsified documents, including fake inventory documents saying Uncle Nearest had more barrels of whiskey than they actually had, all with the intention of getting Farm Credit to increase the $35 million line of credit. And that fake barrel inventory is key because that is what Farm Credit based the increase to the loan on. The more barrels Farm Credit believed Uncle Nearest had, the more money they were willing to lend them. So Sinzowski didn't just stop at increasing the limit. He submitted what is called drawdown requests, which is basically a formal way of saying, hey, lender, now that you've increased how much I have access to, send it to me. According to the documents, over those 13 months, Sinzowski submitted 28 drawdown requests, which basically amounted to him submitting one every 2 weeks for a whole year. And after that year, the total amount of how much he drew down came up to $67 million. And it doesn't stop there. Michael Sinzowski has apparently admitted in multiple interviews with private investigators that he did all of this. According to the receiver, Sinzowski has admitted to signing Fawn Weaver's name on multiple corporate documents without her knowledge or consent. He's admitted to transferring some of her ownership interests, or in layman's terms, what we would call shares, to himself. He's also admitted to falsifying board meeting minutes to show that Fawn and Keith approved loans that they actually never approved. And finally, he's admitted to using the money that he was stealing, because surely you didn't think he used that $67 million on the company, to purchasing himself a house in Las Vegas, buying himself cars, and gambling. And again, that's not it.
But if you want the simplified version, the company ended up owing an enormous amount of money, and the man that was managing the finances is accused of submitting false information, forging documents, and pulling tens of millions in company credit. Okay, the receiver alleges former CFO Michael Sinzowski submitted 28 draw requests totaling nearly $67 million in manipulated documents and reporting. Farm Credit disputes responsibility and argues that the company was obligated to supervise its own officer. Those allegations remain contested. Okay, ladies, I need you to understand something. Fawn Weaver did not just lose some little side hustle. She built a billion-dollar brand around reclaiming a Black man's legacy. And one man, allegedly, had enough access to put the entire empire in jeopardy. Okay, not every CEO checks every single receipt. Okay, you're a CEO, you run into business. That's why you have people to do that for you. What I want to know is, how did one person, one single solitary human being, become so necessary, so trusted, and so unchecked to where no one could see the fire until it was too late? Women, we've got to learn how to stop confusing surrender and delegation. Okay, just because you have to delegate some tasks to people, that does not mean that you have to give that person, one person, complete and total control. That's crazy. You're running an empire. You need to have a couple of money managers. What's happening? But see, women do this in businesses. Women do this in marriages. Women do this in households. We say, oh, daddy handles the money. Daddy handles the money. Okay, but sis, do you know where the accounts are? Do you know what you owe? Can you access anything without having to ask for permission? Do you understand what's being signed in your name? Being strong everywhere else doesn't protect you from the one person that you decided not to question. And I'm gonna be real with you. I need to do better with that too. I don't do money. No, baby, I don't do numbers at all. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do homework. Is it math? You better ask Google, baby, because mama don't know. I do have a financial planner person. We'll say that. I do have a financial planner person. But this person is someone I would put my life in her hands. Do you know what I mean? So, like, and even at that, she doesn't have complete and total access to everything. She has limited viewing ability, but like access to everything. That's asking a lot. That's asking a whole lot. And I understand when we start making money, it's like, oh, it's cool. I trust you with this. Yes, I trust this person with my life. Do I think they'll steal from me? Absolutely not. But anything can happen with money. Anything can happen. And I don't want to put someone in the position to have to explain themselves on some crazy ass fuck shit. You know what I mean? One person got everything. When I delegate, it's like you do this one specific task or these 3 specific tasks, okay? And if I need help elsewhere, I'm gonna have somebody else do it. Why? Because why am I giving you everything? That's not how we do it. That's not how we do it. That's not how we do it. That's not how we do that. But back to Uncle Nearest Green real quick. What's funny is that I actually visited last year. And a couple of things that I had noticed. The food was overpriced and bland. The atmosphere did not match the mythology. The music felt culturally disconnected. We'll say that. The staff and everybody there, they were overwhelmingly white. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. It was overwhelmingly white. And the destination did not feel designed around the Black people whose history and pride powered the brand.
No, you can record. I just don't keep my face. I'm so famous.
How did you feel about the food?
I did not like the food. It was not seasoned. I did have some fried okra. There was not a lick of seasoning on it, and they gave you so much. I didn't like it. I tried the mimosa. That was not good. The champagne that they used was probably, I don't know what was wrong with it. I've had cheap like the brutes or the cooks with it, and that it wasn't that. It was something. And then weird. Okay. And then what else did I have? The beignets were. They were okay. They were okay. But they weren't, they gave you a lot. The smoked
Chicken wings.
Yeah, wings, those were actually good.
Okay.
But just overall, the menu was very
Mid.
It was
lacking.
Yes, there wasn't much of a selection in the menu. So
okay, and the ambiance, how did you feel about the ambiance?
It was very nice. It was a lot more white people than I thought, especially pulling in. I thought we were in the wrong spot. But then I was thinking it is in Shelbyville, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just felt like it was very nice on the inside, but I was expecting more Black people, and I was expecting like some Black music.
There wasn't any.
It wasn't any. I wasn't impressed. But where am I?
I'm not saying that bland food caused $100 million in debt. It didn't. I'm saying that the experience already felt like a company whose public story and actual operation were not completely connected. Maybe the first red flag wasn't hidden in the spreadsheet. Maybe it was the company had become exceptional at selling the story of Black legacy while becoming less connected to the Black consumer standing inside of the building. Now, men, wipe that smirk off your face, because some of y'all will hand a woman the keys to your reputation just because she's pretty and occasionally calls you king.
My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah. I remember I was just like, what?
What I find corny is my preference is not my women. Now, I thought it was I'm not dating my women, period, which is the corniest human being outside of a criminal to me, period.
Akaash only dates brown. Akaash has been with one girl in his life who is his wife.
That's my wife. That's
so this is like loyal through and through.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses.
I'm actively trying to have an orgy and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband. I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches. Okay, I have 2 butthole stories. So one time I met this guy on Tinder and I like woke up in the morning and like my asshole was a little sore.
Oh my God.
And I remember, what kind of porn do you watch when you use a vibrator?
I just think my imagination is vibration enough. I'm just thinking like my own husband while I'm like doing it.
Wait, that's kind of baller, but I could never do that.
Yeah. And so I was using you and your husband split finances. And I'm gonna be really fucking honest.
I don't.
We don't.
We don't.
We don't.
First of all, that's a fucking red flag. Any man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's a fucking red flag. This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money and my money is my money.
My money!
I never watched that show, but like he's on my hall pass list.
Oh yeah.
Chase Crawford, Jacob Elordi, Austin Butler.
Do you know why I think I have like a good marriage? I think it's because my husband's never here.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I've been getting a lot of comments that I'm using my husband for clout, and yeah, that's exactly what it is. What's wrong with that?
Holy.
A few other commentary channels talk about how after leaving the Flagrant podcast, Akaash unfollowed Andrew Schultz on Instagram. And initially I thought there was no way that this was true until I fact-checked it for myself and realized that it actually happened. Now, this blew my mind because if you're even remotely aware of Akaash and Andrew's early career, you would know that these two were friends long before Akaash ever met Jasleen. I know following each other on Instagram isn't really that big of a deal. Some of you guys may be like, come on, Nate, you sound like comedy TMZ. And you might even say behind the scenes, they could still be cool, but I seriously doubt it. If this happened after Akaash exited the show, then I can only surmise that the relationship between him and Andrew has certainly been shaken. Not to mention, Akaash still follows the other guys on the Flagrant podcast, but he unfollowed Andrew specifically, so I think there's definitely a wedge that's been driven between their friendship, and it might stay this way as long as Akaash and Jasleen are still married. Now, even though the boys on Flagrant concealed the real reason why Akaash left the show when addressing it, I do understand that they were trying to protect him and give him an out that wasn't as humiliating as what his wife had been and still is putting him through to this day with her shenanigans. I don't really give a damn what type of drama unfolds on the internet about your petty, insufferable wife, but why would you ever let her ruin an almost 2-decade-long friendship? Say what you want about Andrew, but the guy has done so much for Akaash. So this is just pure slug behavior. You always hear the goofy internet trope of what zero pussy does to a dude, and it's usually something bad, and then everybody laughs afterwards. But now it's time to talk about what pussy actually does to a dude with a guy like Akaash Singh, because holy shit, man. Fellas, if you're ever self-conscious about...
Okay, so I cannot prove that Jasleen made Akaash Singh leave the Flagrant podcast. Okay, I cannot prove it. But what I can say is that his marriage became a public spectacle. He repeatedly defended her, and his public reputation and identity became increasingly tangled in controversy surrounding her. We tell men all the time, you got to protect women, you got to protect women, you've got to protect the women. The women, they're so weak. You have to protect them, right? Okay, you got to protect the women, but who is telling these men or teaching these men how to protect themselves? I'm not turning red pill. Stop it. Don't do that. Because I'm not. But who is telling these men how to protect themselves or the very beings that we keep saying they gotta protect? Who gonna protect them from? It's just a... Oh no. Look, all jokes aside, a good partner should not require you to keep sacrificing your dignity to prove that you love them or your loyalty to them. Defending your spouse in public, that doesn't mean that you can't correct them in private. Sometimes leadership is telling the person that you love, hey, you're hurting us, and that stops right now. Like, honestly, I can't even imagine being with someone that I don't consider to be my best friend. Like, that's supposed to be your bestie. That's supposed to be your homie. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, quick little story time, but before my parents got a divorce, I was like 10 when they got a divorce, and they were already married for damn near 30 years at that point. So my childhood was in a 2-parent household, and they were ride or die. Like, I mean, wasn't nobody finna die. That's why they got the divorce. But it wasn't violent. Listen, they were besties, okay? And so one thing that I've noticed dating in my 30s, okay, I'll be 40 not next month, but in 2 months, in like a month and a half, y'all. Anyway, dating in my 30s, what I realized was that a lot of people are used to dating people and not being friends with them at all. I can't. We're not besties? You're not my best friend? That's weird. Is it just me? Put it in the comments, please. If it's just me, just let me know. Please just let me know. But for me, that's weird. That's a weird that's a weird thing to be with somebody that's not your best friend. Or never has been your best friend, or neither one of you guys are trying to be best friends. If I'm being weird, let me know in the comments. But if that's weird, also let me know, because I can't be the only one. Fawn's possible failure in this situation was allowing trust to replace oversight. And now, in Akaash's situation, personally, I feel that he trusted the wrong person with his image. He was on the up and up and up and way the fuck up with Andrew Scholes, Mark Gagnon, Alex Media, I'm having a brain fart right now. I can't think right now. But the entire Flagrant crew, they have this beautiful way. I call it the Adam Sandler effect. Back in the day, you have to be of a certain age, but back in the day, like the summer movies would come out, and Adam Sandler would be in all, think The Waterboy, okay? And in every single Adam Sandler movie, his friends were in it too, okay? And he would have David Spade in a lot of those movies. And David Spade, when he would do a movie, he'd bring his friends. It was this beautiful interconnected web of white men just building each other up. And I wish I could see that with black folks. I really do. But you know, whatever. It's beautiful wherever you see it. So I call it the Adam Sandler effect. That's what Scholes is doing. That's what Charlemagne, if we're really gonna get down to the nitty gritty of it. But I really wouldn't even say that, because Charlemagne brings on, like, I don't know, Charlemagne don't really put on too often. I mean, like, he's got the Black Effect podcast or media, but other than Andrew, he don't got a podcast with nobody else other than Andrew. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, but I see Andrew putting other people on, and it doesn't matter how you feel about Andrew Scholes. Regardless of how you feel about him, you look and see how he maneuvers with his friends. Now, the Akaash situation, personally, I have not seen Andrew or Charlemagne say anything about that situation publicly, or anything that got leaked that would have warranted that type of reaction, the reaction of Akaash saying, okay, I'm leaving the Flagrant podcast. He's been saying some real slick shit in a lot of these interviews, and it's just kind of like, okay, bro, what's tea for real? Because it sounds like this gal is in your ear hyping you up about your friends. These are your friends. Friends. How many of us have them? How many friends? Look, I guess what I'm trying to say is money can always be rebuilt. Reputation can always be rebuilt. But when someone has access to both of them and they happen to fuck it up, it's harder to rebuild from there. Or better way of simplifying this, I'm going to wrap it up into one sentence. How about that? Stop giving people unchecked power simply because questioning them would make the relationship feel uncomfortable. That applies to spouses, business partners, managers, family members, friends. How many of us have them? Church leadership, anyone with access to your reputation or legal identity. Okay? If the person that's closest to you feels some type of way, if you're like, hey, I know that, you're my money guy, but I'm also going to have someone audit you every quarter just to make sure that everything on the up and up. Make sure you didn't miss anything, right? That's kind of stupid for someone to not have somebody go back and check and then double check. If they feel a way about that, that is a red flag. Fucking run. I don't give a damn who the hell it is. That's a red flag. You should run. Run away from that person. They trying to steal from you, baby. And if you're someone that's in the entertainment industry and you're the one with the microphone in your face all the time, and this person has never had a microphone in their face ever, and so you don't know how the hell they finna act. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know that right now. You don't know how they finna act because they ain't never had a mic. They see you do it all, but that seeing somebody do it and actually doing it is two different things. Okay, so if your person is like freaking the hell out because you say, hey baby, maybe don't pick up a microphone, maybe don't say those words in public, you can tell it to me. You can make me my own personal TikTok and I will watch and love every bit of it. You want me to subscribe to your Patreon, baby? I will subscribe to your Patreon. I am your husband. That's what I'll do. I'll subscribe to your little Patreon. But what I'm not going to do is put a microphone in your face for everybody else to hear what you got to say, because what you're saying is kind of crazy. Okay? And if she feels a way about that, nigga, run away from her. That's ridiculous, because why do you also need a spotlight? You ain't never said nothing about no spotlight before, but now you seeing how much traction I'm getting, so now you want a spotlight too. That sounds like an ego thing, and maybe you should be taking her to therapy instead of labubos. What the fuck is a labuboo? Am I even saying that right? Is it Lululemons? No, I know that's leggings. But what the fuck? What did she say? What the fuck is a labubu? Isn't that a made up toy? This is going off the rails. Like and subscribe or whatever. And join the Patreon. Bye. Oh, the cultural commentary stuff. Listen, because I'm never shutting up about it. I'm never shutting up about it. I was gonna take this whole Nearest Green Distillery situation. I was gonna take that into a completely different angle. And then I was like, nah, bitch, because you're excited for having a video that has 86 views from over a week ago. So maybe just because who is gonna, I was looking up, because after somebody sent me that TikTok. If you're done with the video, you can go. Bye. So somebody saw the video or sent me the video, and I went to go research. And as I'm researching it, because I had a whole other video planned for Friday, and somebody sent me that on Wednesday, and I was like, oh shit. So I started researching it the little bit of time that I actually had, and it had a lot to do with numbers and banks. Those are two things that I don't understand. I'm never going to understand that. I'm never going to understand that. No comprendo el dinero, senor. No, I don't do that. I don't have multiple people for that. Do I make that type of money? No, that's just how bad I am with that. But anyways, as I was researching it, it was irritating me because I don't like it when I don't understand. Look, Virgo season is upon us, baby. I don't like it when I don't understand things. And money is something that I've never been able to understand. Or why I keep saying money? It's numbers in general. You could be talking about temperature. If you're talking about temperatures over 115 degrees, no matter what it is, outside or a thermometer, it doesn't matter what it is. I can't. What does that mean? Hot as fuck is what it means. Oh, this temperature water is 115 degrees, and this temperature water is 300 degrees. They're both hot as fuck. It's a big number, and they're both hot as. So there's that. Okay. But before we go any further, let's be friends. It's a word we use every day. Sometimes we use it in the wrong way. Okay. And you can look the word up again and again. All right, chill.